Hello. In this tutorial, we're going to show how to use the Orbit plugin to make this levitation type effect. In this example, the floor is going to have a repelling effect, and it's going to push the spacecraft up until it reaches some sort of equilibrium with gravity, which is going to cause the spacecraft to sort of bobble between the two repelling forces. So let's get started. The first thing we need to do is start with a blank flying template project. So you can get that through File, New Project, and under Blueprint, Flying. So I've already created one here, so I won't add it again. And this just gives us a project with a spacecraft that looks like it just goes forward, and you can control it. So it's pretty rudimentary, but we'll start with this as our template. The first thing we're going to do is, in this template, the ground is actually made up of, it looks like 6 different actors, and that's going to sort of mess us up later on. We'll have to add 6 different gravity masses to account for each of the floors. So we're going to use one of the experimental Unreal Engine features and merge them all together. So to get to that, go to Edit, Editor Preferences, and under Experimental, there is an option for actor merging. It is right here. So we'll turn that on, close this, and now when we go to the Window menu, there is an experimental section called Merge Actors, and we're going to select Replace Source Actors and hit Merge, and we'll just save it as the default. And now the floor is just one big actor instead of 6 separated ones. The next thing we need to do is actually give the floor the repelling effect. So we're going to navigate to the Orbit plugin and drag out a BP underscore gravity mass actor. So this is the actor that's going to give the floor the repelling effect and store its properties and controls and things like that. So we'll drag it onto the scene. And there it is right here. The most important property we need to assign is its owner actor, and that is just telling which actor it should apply its gravity effect to. So we can select the pick actor from scene and just click on the floor, and now it is set to apply its properties to the floor, and we'll just set it to be right in the middle of the scene. But it doesn't matter where the gravity mass actor is set, it only matters where its owner actor is located for the gravity effects. For properties, we are going to turn on anti-gravity because we want to have the repelling effect, not have the plugin pull the spacecraft towards the floor. And we're just going to turn up its effect a little bit to make it stronger. And we're going to use the use closest point on static mesh feature. And when you turn this on, it's going to calculate gravity based on the closest location to the static mesh. If you had this off, it will always use the center of the static mesh. So you would turn this off if you're simulating a planet or something like that. But for a floor, all we care about is the closest point to the floor, so we'll turn it on. And that's all we need to do here. The next thing we need to do is add a movement component, an orbit movement component to the spacecraft. So if we navigate back to the Flying BP blueprints and Flying Pond blueprint and open that up, this is what's defining the movement behavior for the spacecraft. First, we're going to set some defaults. So the first thing we're going to do is change its default start speed, just to start off with no velocity. So if you click on the current forward speed property, it's set at 500 to default. We'll just have it start at 0 to start out with, and hit compile and make sure that's working. And nope, we still have a forward velocity for some reason. Let's see why. Oh, it's because there's a clamp here with a minimum speed set. So we'll just change the minimum speed to 0 and make sure that works. There we go. So now we're starting off with no velocity. And you'll see there's actually no gravity and no repelling effect yet. Oh, and it looks like there's no collision either on the floor. So let's first add collision to the floor. So we'll open the floor actor we created up, and under collision, we'll just give it a box collision. Save that, test it out, and good, there we go. Next, we're going to go back to the spaceship blueprint. So under flying BP, blueprints, flying pond. Now we're going to add the orbit movement component. So under add components, we went there and added the component, and let's set up some defaults here. We're going to set it to start off with no velocity. So under start velocity, we'll change that to 0, and we'll turn off start circularized. So now we'll start off with no velocity. And the other thing we need to do is give it gravity. So under additional world acceleration, under the z-axis, we'll give it negative 5,000 or so. If you wanted to simulate Earth gravity, it would be negative 980, but we'll give it more of an effect just to make it look a little nicer. And let's hit compile, save, close, run, and that's all there is to it. And so now we're bobbing between the anti-gravity effect of the floor and the world gravity and the orbit movement component. Well, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching.